What's up, tricksters, and welcome to the very first episode of Chamber to Radiant series. A series where I'll try to reach Radiant by only playing Chamber, while giving you a lot of pro tips, tricks and strategies for smart grind in Valorant. The goal is to have the absolutely highest win rate while teaching you some high elo knowledge that you can abuse to rank up faster. In the previous ranked episodes, we've completed the Jet, Omen, Yoru and Ray series up to Immortal, so I highly recommend you to check these videos as well for some extra knowledge, and you should consider all of these series like an in-depth agent guides that you won't find anywhere else. The only change that I've made, because I've stopped with the smurfing content, is that I'll be playing all of the future series on one of my main accounts, and every journey we will begin in either Ascendant 1 or Immortal 1, and the goal is to reach Radiant with every single agent in the game. And yes, I will remake the previous series with Jet, Omen, Yoru and Raze up to Radiant, so you can prepare yourself for some more content with these agents. Also, during this series, same as with previous agents, I'm making the ranked playbook with the best chamber setups and tactics for every single map. So if you have any questions about Chamber, feel free to ask me down in the comments, and I highly recommend you to join my Discord server for private coaching, because there you can also get that Chamber ranked playbook, which is gonna help you a lot to unlock his full potential. By the way, all of these games are streamed live on my Twitch channel, and you can join me on this journey where I'm trying to improve the whole Valorant community, because as you already know, I've got Radiant in every episode from closed beta. I'm one of the most experienced and oldest Valorant coaches, and I truly believe that anyone, yes, even you, can improve in this game, reach Radiant, or become a professional player. So, without any further ado, let's start with a placement match. Now, the first game was a narrow win on Split. It was nothing special, and this series we're starting in Immortal 1 with 73 rank rating. And yes, our codename for this series is Gorilla #coach. Okay, I'm gonna stop with the cringe immediately. But now is the time to give you some initial, very important tips if you want to master Chamber. Currently, he is an A+ agent for rank grind and players improvement at Valorant. His utility is still strong enough to solo carry, but you definitely need to have a decent aim in order to unlock his full potential. That is why during this series, I'll also share with you some of my private aim training routines and mechanical tips as well. In this video, we will cover the most important tips for every Chamber's ability, and you need to apply these tips in your gameplay. So let's start with his tripwire. Trademark. It's more trip. The purpose of his trademark is not to tag enemies, but to reveal them. We always want to put our trips in the most efficient way possible, so that we have a larger circle around which we can play while the trip is still giving us information about enemies. Also, we want to put the trips in a way in which it's really hard for enemies to smoke them off or pass them. For an example, when you're doing 5-man execute onto C-side of Haven, it is much better to place your trip on this position instead of this one. Why? Because if you need to support your teammates at the backside during the execute or in the post plant, your trip is still going to be active, giving us valuable info about the potential flank. Plus, it's almost impossible to cross this trademark without destroying it. Now, whenever you're playing Chamber as a secondary sentinel, on attacker's side you can also use trips as a recon tool, instead of covering the flanks. And on defense, you can just cover the choke points that your main sentinel is not covering for your team. Also, on both attackers and defender's side, whenever your trip was inactive for more than 3 or 4 seconds, reset it, because that's already a lot of time that enemies could have used to pass your trip. This is especially important on defense, because if you rotate and lurking enemies see that your trip is inactive, they will have more confidence to lurk into bomb site, and they will take additional space faster. Also, the sooner we reset the trip, the faster we're going to have it for the retakes on defense, and we can also use it as a recon tool to reveal enemies. If you reset your trip on attacker side during post plants, that trip might be very useful to distract enemies and for you to take some easy gunfights. Overall, whenever you think that your trip is not useful anymore, restock it and use it for some different purpose. Because if it gets destroyed by the enemy, you won't be able to use it again in that round. Now let's start with some actual gameplay, and sometimes I'm simply in disbelief that this is high elo in Europe, bro. Like, what the hell is going on, man?
One enemy remaining.
I have one smoke. I could smoke left side for you.
Careful here.
Yeah, do it.
I have this bite. 10 seconds left.
But
Now the question is, when do you want to lurk on attacker's side? If the match is going to shit and your team play is not working, you can start searching for some solo picks and trying to surprise enemies alone. When enemies are way too repetitive, they're always playing on the same positions or peeking in the same angles, you can try to lurk, punish those enemies, and then regroup with your team. Whenever you notice that enemies are rotating super fast on defense, leaving the bomb sites open, you can try to take some additional space for your team if their push on the opposite part of the map fails. And if you notice that enemies are always pushing you from behind, you can try to punish those enemies and then once again reconnect with your team. That is exactly what happened in this match. Enemies were very aggressive on defense, so I'm waiting on this angle to punish them. Also, I've placed this trip for the B-main flank so that I have information in every part of the map. No matter what enemies decide to push, Charlatano Punisher is there. I said I'm gonna stop with the cringe, and the cringe still continues. Sorry. After making numbers advantage for my team, I'm instantly trying to reconnect with my allies because my job is done. But I knew that one more enemy was in the B main area, so I'm using this teleport to safely cross towards A main. Now, after that teleport, I switched my focus towards C-Long, because I knew that Raze was not the one that opened the rotating doors, because I heard footsteps of 3 players at the start of this round. So I pre-assumed that there might be one player that is trying to avenge the killjoy from Long.
One enemy remaining.
He was B-main. After this kill on Jet, my teammates already took the A-side control, so I don't need to commit myself into some pointless 1v1 gunfight. I'm just playing some mind games with enemy Raze and trying to safely reconnect with my team.
I'm rushing him.
Flawless.
teleport's ready.
Here you could have noticed that as soon as I was left with 0 bullets in Vandal, I immediately switched onto Headhunter, and this should be an autopilot natural decision for you. Basically, in almost every single round, you should carry around 4 Headhunters with yourself, unless you need to save your economy. The pullout time of Headhunter is much faster than the pullout time of any other secondary weapon, so whenever you miss your operator or outlaw shots, you have no more bullets in your main guns, you should pull out the Headhunter to continue fighting enemies. Also, one of the main perks of playing Chamber is his loadout versatility, and you can be an extremely unpredictable player. For an example, on Defender side on claustrophobic maps such as Bind, Stinger, Shorty and a few Headhunters can be a deadly combo when you're playing half-buy rounds, because you have an extremely good weapon for every single fight on every range. You can start your round in the B window, holding this tight angle and trying to delete enemies with one Headhunter. Then after you finish that fight, you can pull out the Shorty, pow, 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 to surprise enemies that are running through the narrow choke point. And then if you're fighting some close to medium range gunfights, you pull out the Stinger and destroy the remaining enemies. There are various different weapon combos that can allow you to surprise enemies and take some easy fights if you use these weapons in the smart way, and I'll showcase you during this series every single weapon combo and how to abuse them on every single map. So that is why I highly recommend you to hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like if you don't want to miss some important tips and information in the future videos, baby. Now, the main rule when it comes to using the Chamber's teleport is: if there is even a 5% of chance for you to fight an enemy, or you will definitely engage an enemy, or you're moving through some territory where enemies can be at that moment of time, place your teleport and then take a fight. Basically with Chamber, same as with Jet's dash ability, every single time when you die and you didn't use your teleport before the fight, there is something that you could have done better, which is using your teleport, obviously. And remember that you should always use your teleport as a tool to get a short fight where you're not committing yourself. Essentially, when you have teleport ready and you get into some gunfight, you should only stay inside of that engagement for one bullet or one burst fire, and then immediately use your teleport to reset yourself for the next fight. If you overcommit and you die before using your teleport, that is very, very bad. But also, if you overcommit and you don't use your teleport fast enough, there is a 50% of chance that you're going to die in the middle of your teleport. But this usually only happens in high elo lobbies against aim demons such as Scream. Also, whenever you get out of the teleport's range or teleport is not useful for you anymore, reset the ability so that we can have it as soon as possible for some next engagement.
Fucking heaven.
Where are you?
One more backside.
Two.
My ult is ready. Is that one's dead?
I don't know.
Last player standing. One enemy remains.
In this round, I was consistently trying to refrag my teammates and I was baiting enemy peeks with a fake plant. Also, since I've noticed that enemy Jet is using Operator and I know her exact location, I decided to use ultimate in this 1v1. Basically, Chamber's ultimate is amazing when you're fighting enemies that have Operator, because you have a better Operator that is faster and that has faster scope in time.
They are so dead.
Nice, Jonathan.
Thank you. It would have been very risky taking this fight with a Vandal because of the first bullet inaccuracy, and only God knows if I would actually hit a headshot, like, let's be honest. Essentially, the only consistent weapons in Valorant are Operator, Outlaw, Marshal, and Chamber's ultimate. Basically, snipers. While gunfights with every other weapon in the game can be interesting. let's call it like that. If you need to clutch up your rounds or you're fighting these 1v1 scenarios, it's always better to rely on things that are always consistent, such as tour de force. Force, more like Italiano, that's not France. What the? My apologies again.
Ah oui, Molly, Molly here, just speak fast. Like, I will Molly in the garden.
Good start of the stream! Today is gonna be a good day. Also, this is how not to peek B-long of bind. You always want to place your teleport and then take a fight. Also, whenever you're taking duels in B-long, clear half of the B-long from the lower ground and then jump crouch on top of this bench to go for a full swing. You will be a much more unpredictable target for enemies that are holding this angle from garden. Now in the next round we're playing post plant on A site and I'm holding my default trip on attack because in the previous rounds enemies smoked it off and went for a flank. Also, these are the only good default trips on attacker side of bind where you cover the flank from every position, but it is very easy to cross them with a smoke or teleport. Omen's teleport, of course. So if enemies are doing that often, you can place this trip when you're doing a 5-man push onto A site, and you can place this trip if you're doing a 5-man push onto B site. Both of these trips are almost impossible to be crossed, and they're very good replacements for our default ones. Why are they good? Because very rarely enemies are going to use this specific pathing to flank behind you. And anyways, it's much more important for us to deny this fast flank through links.
Flash gas.
At the end of this round, I made a huge mistake. Before I even swung from A short, I should have placed my teleport behind this box, so that I can go for a safe initial peek. Especially when enemy Astra did her ultimate before using her wall to outmaneuver enemies, I should have placed much safer teleport instead of this one.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
But this play still worked because of my fast thinking and good positioning. Generally speaking, Astra's ultimate is always a double-edged sword, and you should try to find these type of gaps where you can easily go for some surprise party fiddlestick sound plays. Remember that both you and enemies have no audio and no idea what's happening on the opposite part of the wall. For an example, you can jump spot the enemies through the wall, and once you reveal them, go for a fast peek with Chamber's teleport, and maybe you'll get a free kill and then reset yourself for another fight. Even without the jump spot, you can try to peek the enemies on timing and try to surprise them with a Chamber's teleport. With Omen, you can always go for some aggressive plays because your teleport literally makes no sound. And there are many other problems of this ultimate ability, so always be very, very careful when you're playing around it.
Viper up mid. Oh.
Counter-Strike, the best FPS
Was
game
running
ever, to
back,
be honest.
maybe on A already.
This is unbearable.
Yeah,
man.
watch out.
Even though snipers are the most consistent weapons in Valorant, the problem is that netcode of this game is a complete spaghetti carbonara, and Peeker's advantage is sometimes abysmal. This is one of those 40% of scenarios that you're going to lose no matter what, but I could have played this situation much better. Generally speaking, whenever you hear the enemy's footsteps and you know their exact location, instead of waiting for them to peek you, you should hide yourself behind some cover, dodge enemies' recon abilities, and surprise them with your own peeker's advantage with proper crosshair placement. On top of that, with Chamber, you still have a teleport to escape any bad situation, and instead of being greedy, I could have easily resetted myself when Sova's drone revealed me. Don't be greedy, my friends, and remember that whenever these type of rounds happen to you, it's very important that you keep your mentality in check and learn from your mistakes. It's not always the luck factor that's fucking you up, you know, sometimes you're just shit and you need to be better. Buy my coaching on Discord server. Now I'm going to showcase you two of my favorite first round setups with Chamber on Defender side of Split. Setup numero uno. You buy classic, shorty, light shield, and one headhunter. Before the round starts, you place your teleport into elbow and prepare classic plus shorty setup on the left side of a choke point. Same as we did in the Omen series. Ask for one of your teammates to bait for you and to destroy enemies' recon utility. And when enemies are inside of this choke point, take some free kills with shorty, switch to classic pistol with your drop button, and you can easily reset yourself with a teleport. And you still have light shield, one headhunter, and a classic pistol, which is plenty enough to win the first round on a claustrophobic map such as Split. Setup numero dos. You buy classic, 4 headhunters, and a light shield. You put your teleport behind this box on A tower, and you play behind this pillar on A site. When enemies are rushing into sight, try to surprise them with a fast peek as they're moving forward. With this setup, you can also help your teammates on tower if enemies decide to do some kind of a split or they're taking A tower in the first round. Now, there are many other good setups that we can do in the first round, and generally on a set of Split. But I'm going to cover all of these setups in the future episodes and inside of the ranked playbook on my Discord server. Also on Split in the first round, I'd always prioritize playing with a classic pistol and light shield, or regen shield, because it's an extremely narrow map with a lot of close range corridors, and it's simply not worth it to play any other pistol in ranked. With Chamber, you're simply buying either classic light shield, 2 headhunters and a trip, classic light shield and 4 headhunters, classic light shield, 1 headhunter and a shorty, classic regen shield and 1 headhunter. Also, if you're buying Trip in the first round, I highly recommend you to place it on Tower right here. Because on Split, A site is our default bomb site, but we always prioritize having information and control of tower positions instead of the bomb sites. Especially if you have nobody playing on A or B towers, you should place your trips on these two locations.
One enemy remaining.
There they are.
Spike
got us.
down A.
Reloading.
Teleport ready.
My bad face, sorry bro.
Now, if you ever wondered, this is how it looks like to play with 0.01% of Valorant players. Holding water.
Spike down mid.
Do better.
Two more China.
Last player standing.
What is this info? Two more China?
How can he be there? Bro, when I say China,
Their
he
site
killed one, you know?
knows too.
You said two more China.
Bro, are you dumb or what I'm saying? When I
0.001% of Valorant community, by the way. Just for your information. Now, when you're playing Chamber on Split, you really want to prioritize getting the operator as soon as you can, and you need to play semi-aggressive from the first full buy round on defense. Basically, you want to use your teleport with operator or with other guns in various different setups and with various different peaks to get some kills in A main, B main, and mid area of this map. At the end of the day, even if you don't get the kills, but you just gather information for your team and apply pressure, that is still enough. Because one of the worst things that you can do on Split is playing super passively and selling all of this map control for free to the enemy team. For an example, you can place your teleport right here on rafters and go for a fast crouch peek or dead zone from ramp or A main. Once you teleport, you immediately have an angle from which you can get another kill. Then you can place your teleport on either of these double boxes on B site and go for a fast crouch peek or dead zone peek in B main area of the map. Once you teleport, you immediately have another safe off angle from which you can take one more kill and drop down towards safety. On mid, you can put your teleport for B tower rotation, play on the left side of vents, and try to surprise enemies based on timings. Once you teleport, no matter if enemies smoke, molotov, or wall off the vents, you're actually on B tower, ready to support your teammates. The most important tip here is that you always want to maximize the efficiency of your teleport. This ability should either grant you another off angle or position from which you can surprise enemies, allow you to defend multiple areas of the map at the same time, or allow you to quickly support your teammates no matter where you're starting in that specific round. It's a really great and very versatile utility if you use it in a smart way, same as any other movement ability in Valorant.
Mid.
You can fall back.
Spike down mid.
Bro, the smoke fucked me.
Now, as always, greed is not good, my friends, especially when you make true numbers advantage in Valorant. But if your teammates are bloodthirsty, make sure that you're always ready to support them.
Remaining.
Okay.
As much as you need to track what enemies are doing, that same level of focus you need to put onto your allies, and make sure that with your movement and positioning, you're always ready to compensate any bad play that they're doing at that moment of time. You will notice that as you're going higher in ranks, your teammates will make more undisciplined plays that you will have to compensate. That is why one of the most important skill sets that you need to master before high elo lobbies is a proper ranked team play and how to silently support your allies. So to summarize, in Valorant you need to become both Baba Yaga and Baba Vanga if you want to rank up faster. And that's what I'm exactly doing in my private coaching sessions on Discord, making Babas out of players. Now we're traveling on Ascente and we're playing 1v3 retake. We know that 2 enemies are on the bomb site and 1 enemy was flanking through B main because my trip revealed him. So in these type of situations you need to deal with one group of enemies as soon as possible before the second group of enemies connect with them, because it would be impossible to deal with 3 enemies from multiple different locations at the same moment of time.
Last player standing.
Both sides, minus 55 on Phoenix.
Spike planted. 1 enemy
Not your
remaining.
best. My ult is ready.
Short.
Nice, bro.
Thank you, thank you. And yes, even with Chamber on these paper maps such as Lotus, Ascent and Haven, you can prioritize buying Odin if you see an opportunity to get some free kills with spam.
Nice.
What were these footsteps, man? Like, what the fuck? They gave me the info where they are. One hit tower.
1 HP doors.
1 enemy
1
remaining.
HP last.
Left, right, left, right.
I got the spike.
Rafters.
Yeah, probably.
No peeking.
Easy. You guys.
Attack.
In this game, we did have a really good clutches, but the main reason why we won 13-0 is because of the good vibes and positive mental. That's why being toxic in competitive games is one of the main factors that can stagnate your improvement and ranking up, no matter how good of a player you are. And that is why you should also train your mentality and attitude as much as you focus on other skill sets, especially if your plan is to become a professional player.
Bro, why blaming me, man? Like, hello? 0 kills, no here the single good comb. Call me bot. What the fuck is this elo? Are we playing like 500 elo?
Go ahead, bro.
What? Bro, are we actually in like 500 elo? Like, are you guys like 500? What the fuck is that?
And in contrast to the previous game, in the next match we had teammates that were toxic from the round number 3, which resulted into automatic loss. During these games, you should still try to win and try to use your teammates as best as you can. Surrender is never an option, especially because every round and every kill impacts a lot your hidden MMR and rank rating gains. Also remember that arguing with random online NPCs is never a good idea. Don't add fuel to the fire. If your teammates have mental problems, you cannot fix them during a game that lasts 30 minutes. They need psychotherapy. Focus on yourself, kings and queens. Try to find some solutions how you can counter enemies, and maybe if you clutch a few rounds, your teammates might become normal again. And even if you lose, at least you tried your best. Reset yourself and never let these type of experiences ruin your day or your focus for the next match. Now, the first episode of Chamber to Radiant series, we're ending in Immortal 2 with 164 rank rating. Trust me, this is not going to be a short series, and I'll share with you all of the statistics in the last episode. But hey, that means that there's still plenty of tips, tricks and strategies that I need to teach you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you, my dear tricksters, in the next video.